Quadam Basin, China. How many secrets does it hide? What seems normal at first glance actually hides a much stronger and more dramatic story of our Earth. This time we head east and north from the discovery of the metal pipes. We find it everywhere, the debris of the global lattice structure. We'll use a timeline to see the process of limestone mining. At the beginning of the timeline, we see a salt marsh, and it appears that this area was once a salt lake. Sinkholes and groundwater are already starting to appear here. Let's take a look at the incredible details. However, the same or similar geometry can be found on land anywhere in the world and gives the landscape a somewhat geometric character. Some parts of the structure have been preserved in good condition, but as you can see, there are traces of deformation below the water surface, and many parts are missing. There are sections that supported gigantic slabs, but we also see the original water channels. As you can see, some beams continue further into the surroundings and end in the rock, as if they were torn off from other beams. The original structure was complex, with a large number of beams to support thousands of earth plates. The weight of such a gigantic structure is unimaginable to us. Here too, more basins are being exposed, or more precisely, another part of the grid structure. In the surrounding area, we find more signs of what lies beneath the surface. These are areas that resemble agricultural fields. Yes, people use these places to grow food because the soil here is moist due to seeping groundwater. For example, here it might seem to us that these are agricultural fields, but let's look at the detail. Strange, right? Here again, the geometry of the structure is hidden, and next to this area, we have another. The vegetation here even copies its geometry. Here the structure is clearly visible due to the seeping water. It appears to have been preserved in good condition because the beams in the places where the beams were placed prevent the water from seeping. We move further east to another interesting area. We are probably looking at the bottom of another drying lake. Here too, the remains of a truss structure appear, but it is considerably damaged. We can only guess at the geometry of the structure, but not everything was devastated, as we will see in a moment. The ruins of a very old world still protrude from the limestone, sandstone, and water deposits. The northern part of this area is better preserved. We can see a number of basins, some of which are still being cleared of sediment. It is easy to see from which side the mining machines bite into the limestone. I marked this place as a bird because we will actually see it. Let's get into the details. These ruins are now below the water's surface. However, huge carved stone slabs can still be found here. It is essentially a sinkhole. And here we come to the image of a bird. Above this figure, salt marshes with a strange geometry appear. We see signs of drying out in the form of cracks on the surface and also exposed water reservoirs. This is also part of the construction. This part of the find, which is followed by the image of the bird, is also strangely geometric and colorful. Unfortunately, the image on Google Earth does not capture the way it was created. There used to be a hill in the place of the colored geometry. That means it had to be removed. So much work had to have some purpose or intention. Let's take a look at the neighboring drying salt marsh. Here too, the geometry is hidden and appears to be damaged. Notice the heart. But let's look at the highlighted image because there are other lines hidden here. How did the image of this bird come about? I think it copies something that is found in the rock. There are more similar patterns, and what is interesting is the fact that they are only visible from a great height. The image of the bird is a worldwide phenomenon. In our modern history, it is represented by the symbol of the eagle and the dove. Let's recall some. First of all, they are our bird friends from the Nazca Plain. The same pattern also comes from Russia. Now we're going to a very special place in Nevada, Pelican Island. For a better view, let's move back on the timeline. The pelican is indeed found here and may be the outline of a huge slab that was carved into this shape. Unfortunately, we can only see the approximate outline today, and note that it is still connected to the truss beam. But let's see what is nearby. We're looking at a scan of what may be gigantic support columns. They appear to be torn. There is groundwater seeping in this place, which means that there could have been an anchoring mechanism here. We have already seen many similar traces of these giants, not only in Nevada, but also in New Mexico, and especially in Australia. However, traces of anchors can be found in many places in the world. To the left of these giants appears part of the truss structure that was attached to these columns. However, this geometry is not the only one that can only be seen from great heights. There are areas preserved by limestone where the geometry of the streets has been preserved. This is the case, for example, in Egypt, to which we will definitely return. During the construction of New Cairo, layers of limestone are literally broken away, revealing beautiful geometry. Something similar can be found on Adak Island in the Bering Sea. An airport is being built here, but ancient structures resembling chalices or Egyptian lotus flowers are appearing nearby. Let's go back to Baigong for a moment. Let's take a brief look at the area northeast of the find. Here too, we will see an area dotted with windows, which are formed by a hidden lattice structure. This image probably shows either greenhouses or warehouses, but it is often a pre-mining probe in progress. It is difficult to determine the actual purpose. But look around. It seems like there's a lot more going on here than just farming. Lattice geometry is absolutely everywhere, and the area is very large. Do you still remember what we were saying about lithium? In this area, there are circles that the mainstream claims are a form of agriculture and irrigation. Yes, because there is water under these formations. However, the water probably falls or rises. That's why the circles disappear and reappear. In reality, they are covering something else. For example, in Saudi Arabia, some of the rings are being removed, revealing covered pools underneath. This is likely a circular lattice structure. Here we enter further geometric fields, which are, however, interrupted by an old lahar flow. And here the construction continues. It is no surprise that here too we find cleaned pools that were hidden in this vast geometry. The question that came to my mind was, what actually is sacred geometry? Try to think about it. We'll meet again in the next video and explore other very interesting places where the Baigong pipes very likely came from. You can also search for yourself. I'm saying goodbye to you for now.